What's up, guys? Here's another video. This one is a video to try to go over kind of how all this distance learning is going to work. I know a lot of you guys have questions, probably not sure how all this is going to kind of pan out for the rest of the school year. But obviously we got to adapt to the new circumstances that we're in. So we're going to go over my PowerPoint. I'm going to record this video. If you still have questions after the video, make sure to reach out and let me know. I'm going to try to go over all the details and hopefully clarify some questions that you guys have. Be sure, if you have not done the Flipgrid response, that you get that done as soon as possible. Okay, I've only gotten 25 videos as of now, as I'm recording this video, and I have over like 150 students. So I want to hear from you guys. Even if you haven't done the Flipgrid, just make sure you reach out to me on either Jupiter, email, Microsoft Teams, just letting me know that you're doing okay. Also, I just posted a Kahoot trivia game. It's just a fun little like pop culture trivia game. The top 3 winners, I'll give you guys extra credit on your grade. So go ahead and do that on your own time too. Needs to be finished before Friday. Okay, so those are just a couple of announcements. But let's go ahead and get into the presentation here. Also, before I move on, one more announcement. If you haven't signed up for the Remind app, just because I feel like for a lot of you guys, this will be an easier way for me to get a hold of you quickly because it's like a text message. Make sure to sign up for the Remind app. The link is on Microsoft Teams. If you can't access Microsoft Teams and you're like, Mr. Strickland keeps telling me about these links, then send me an email and I can send you the links through an email. Okay, but get on Remind app so that way I can make announcements a lot easier through that. Okay? So here we go. Here's the presentation. By the way, I'll leave a copy of these slides on Microsoft Teams, so if you want to go back and look at some of the stuff we have there. But here's my logistics for this distance learning class. So just a little outline of what I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over the schedule, what the student and teacher roles are for distance learning, what are the norms and expectations. Also the communication, how we're going to communicate, our learning tools, routine, and then just the grading and the requirements for this class. I don't know why the S came out super small, but it is what it is. So first we'll go over the schedule, student and teacher role. So a lot of you guys on your Flipgrid responses were asking like, what's the times that we have to be on here? What's the schedule look like? What do we have to do? So I'm going to go over that here. This, like I said, I'm going to leave these slides on Google Classrooms, on Microsoft Teams, so I don't want to spend too much time going over this. But basically on Mondays, those are the days where I'll be posting a video like this that will basically break down what that week's packet is, what that packet's about, and I'll talk about more about that when we move on. But that's what Monday is. So really that's just a check-in day. If you guys have questions, just gives you guys can kind of just work on your own on those days. And then they also set aside certain days for your block period. So like for instance on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's 1, 3, 5 days, and Wednesdays and Fridays are 2, 4, 6. But these blocks are only 30 minutes long, and what I'll be doing during that time is just holding a Microsoft Teams meeting. So if you want to check in during those times and ask questions, those are the times that will be more geared towards your class. So for instance, for period 1 on Tuesdays from 10 to 10:30 is your opportunity to like reach out to me, and I'll make myself available mainly for period 1 students that have questions about the work or what's going on. Okay, and then basically the same thing for the rest of the classes. Okay, so that's how it works. Obviously, I'm available even outside of these times, but I'm just saying I'll be more in contact with the period that's supposed to be in class during that time. But you can email me after these hours, before, whatever. If you guys have questions, I'm open. I might not respond right away, but if you are emailing me or sending me messages during your block time, then I'm for sure going to be ready to respond to you guys. But obviously if you send me an email like at 8 o'clock at night, I might not respond till the next day. Okay, so the schedule's there. If you want to look at this, like I said, the slides will be posted on Microsoft Teams. The student role, so this is what the school district has in mind for what your guys' responsibilities are for this distance learning. So you need to be available for teacher interaction during your assigned period, date, and time. Obviously, certain circumstances might affect this, but to the best of your ability, be available during your assigned block period. Just because This will be the time where I'm really going to try to push stuff out to those students in those periods. This is where I really want to interact with you guys during that class time. I'm not going to have like a virtual class where you guys have to like sit and watch me like lecture, but I do want to be available to interact with you guys during this time period. So try to be available as much as you can. If not, you can even jump in another period's time if that's like, if for whatever reason you're not available during your period. Okay. Next, reach out to your teacher during office hours for additional support as needed. So obviously this is new for everyone, so you might have a bunch of questions, and I do not want you guys to feel like threatened to ask questions. Like, there are no dumb questions. Please feel free to get a hold of me if you're not sure about something, because I don't want you to sit there and struggle or give up on doing your work just because, you know, maybe the computer's not working right or you just don't understand what's going on. Please let me know your situation. There's a lot of ways to communicate with me, which we'll go over in a second, but please ask for help, okay? Obviously, the next role is to complete your assignments, okay? We'll talk more about that in a second. Ask clarifying questions, and then make sure to share any problems that you're facing with me, the counselor, school admin, if that's an issue. So if you're just having roadblocks, like, I don't know, you know, there's a bunch of things that can happen during this time, so please let us know what's going on. So that's the role of the student. The role for the teacher, we're going to deliver our week's assignments every Monday. They are thinking about doing paper versions if you need paper. The only downside is you have to physically go to the school to pick up packets, and when you're done you have to drop them off. So if you want to avoid that, hopefully you can complete all your tasks online, but we understand that some people may not have access, may not have a laptop, all that kind of stuff. But if you have a phone that has internet and you can use that, or if you have your computer, I highly recommend that you try to complete everything on there. That way you're not responsible for having to come and pick up packets and drop them off and all that kind of stuff. But please let me know after you watch this video if you are one of those people that think that they're gonna have to do everything on paper. Please let me know, because so I can plan and make sure everything's prepared for you. Okay, next, we're supposed to check in students twice a week, so I'll be doing that. I'm also going to have 30 minutes where you guys can meet with me, chat during your block periods. Like I said, I'm supposed to be available during that time. I'll have calendar of appointments with students, so if you guys want to have one-on-one meetings or a group meeting, we could set those up. And then obviously I'm going to grade your work, give you feedback. And then I'm going to be a lot more flexible with due dates. Obviously, it's a lot more difficult to have a set date where things are due because of just the whole environment that we're in. So I'm going to be a lot more flexible, but you also don't want to fall way too behind, because like, I don't want you to think like, oh, well, he gave us this packet. He says we should finish it by Monday, but I'm just going to, you know, chill on this. You don't want to do that, because then the work's just going to keep piling up. So you want to try to stay on schedule, but I understand if you're like a day or two behind, like, that's fine if you need an extra day or two to finish your work, okay? But I'm going to try to make the work as manageable as possible. Like, realistically, you'll have a whole week to do something that we possibly would have done in like a one block period day. So hopefully you guys will be able to handle that. So that's the roles of the student and the teacher, and then just kind of the schedule for this distance learning, okay? We're learning how to do this just as much as you guys are learning how to do this distance learning. So things might change as we go on, the roles might switch up, but for the most part, this is kind of how it's going to look, okay? Reminder, if you have questions about this, please feel free to ask. The second part of the presentations are the norms and expectations. So just like in the class, you guys know this already, my biggest rule is just being respectful. Obviously, people, it's easier to hide behind computers and, you know, act a fool on here, but please be respectful. I mean, if you're going to be on here interacting, and if you guys want to be a part of the chat, I even opened up on Microsoft Teams where you guys can post comments and stuff on the board, just because it's a lot easier for me to interact. Just make sure you're being respectful, okay? I will not tolerate people you know, being basically disrespectful, okay? And I don't feel like I need to explain that. I mean, I feel like you guys know the drill. This is still class, so that's what my next thing is. Be professional. This is still class, you know, it's still a professional setting even though we're at home, but when you guys do enter the educational arena here, I do expect you guys to be professional. That means when you send me emails, it's not, hey, yo, what's up? You know, professional emails, we're communicating like teacher and student, just like we would in class or wherever the case may be. So make sure you're just being professional, and we won't have any issues here, okay? Participate is my next norm expectation, so I expect you guys to participate throughout the rest of these last 6 weeks of school, 7 weeks of school. I put an asterisk there just because obviously there might be times where you can't participate, but to the best of your ability, I want you guys to be active participants in this class. Okay, and then lastly, communicate. I expect you guys to communicate with me, keep me informed of what's going on. If you're struggling with stuff, please check in, okay? So those are my expectations and norms. Biggest thing is just be respectful, okay? And I put this here too because now that we're online, make sure you are a digital citizen, okay? In this video, I'm not going to play it, but you guys can watch it because I'm going to post this on Microsoft Teams. But it talks about what a digital citizen is. Make sure you're being safe online, okay? We don't need to, like I said, it's a lot easier to hide behind the screen and like post comments and do things that you wouldn't normally do in a regular classroom, just because you have the comfort of, you know, not actually being there face to face with a person or vice versa. So make sure you guys are being digital citizens. And also, I didn't discuss this, but it's obviously a lot easier to cheat on things and, you know, do stuff like that. So please, you know, the whole point of this online learning is for you to learn. So if you're just sitting there waiting for people to send you answers or whatever the case may be, then you're not actually learning. So it kind of defeats the purpose. So make sure to check out that video. If you have any questions, please feel free to speak to me. But the only way this is going to work out is if you guys are, you know, using the technology in a good way. Okay? So that's basically it on my norms and expectations as we take this journey into the new learning style. Things might change, but I mean, as long as we're being respectful and, you know, following that #1 rule, I don't think we'll have any issues with this new distance learning technique. Okay, so moving on to the next category is number 3, communication. This is obviously going to be super important as well, because you can't just like walk into my classroom and ask me questions, or, you know, raise your hand or come to my desk and ask me questions. So we're gonna have to be able to communicate, both me communicating with you guys and you guys being able to communicate with me. So in these next couple slides, I'm gonna talk about the best ways to communicate. And since, you know, I don't want to sound like super confident, but I'm pretty good at this technology stuff, so I am a lot more available than maybe even some of your other teachers. So there should be no reason why you can't get in contact with me if you really try to, okay? So there's kind of a lot of ways to get a hold of me, and I'm going to go over all those in a second, okay? So first is on Microsoft Teams. On this slide, I even show you how you can do that. So if I post a comment or if I post something on the general discussion board, you can always click reply and then just send me a message directly on here. Obviously, if you do this, everyone will be able to see what you're saying. So if you want it to be more private, then you probably don't want to use this. But if it's a quick question, like maybe I posted a link to something and it's not working and you just want to be like, hey, Strickland, I don't think the link's working, or whatever the case may be, this might be a tool of a way to communicate with me. Or if you have a question directly related to whatever I just posted, this can also be a way to communicate. Okay. Next is chatting through Microsoft Teams. So I don't know if you guys know this, but on Microsoft Teams, there is actually a little chat function. If you click on that link there, there is a tool where you could start new conversations. Once you click that, you can literally access anyone in the classes, including myself. So even if you want to send chat messages to other classmates, if you guys need to collaborate or help on something, you can also chat through this. But if you want to communicate with me, you can send messages. And another cool thing about Microsoft Teams is you can send a variety of things. You could send attachments, pictures, videos, all that kind of stuff. So if there's certain things you want to show me, maybe a screenshot of something, you can also send that through Microsoft Teams chat. And the good thing about this is I have Microsoft Teams, the app, downloaded on my phone. So, you know, I get an alert every time you send me a chat message. So this could be another way to send me a message. It's private, so I'll be the only one that reads them. And yeah, so Microsoft Teams, that's basically the two ways to communicate through Microsoft Teams. Moving on, another way you can communicate is through Jupiter Grades. I'm pretty sure a majority of you guys know how to use this already, but I put some notes on this slide. You can go back and look at this after. But, you know, how to send a message to me. I think you can also add a bunch of files and stuff as well through the Jupiter Grades messaging. So you can send me a message through here. I'll also be able to read them. This one's connected to my school email, so every time you guys send me a message, I get an alert on my school email address. So I'll see these pretty frequently as well. So if you like using Jupiter and you already know how to use that to message, please feel free to message me on there. Next way is Remind. So I want to use Remind app just because majority of you guys are probably actively using your phones right now during this time. And although I do have the Instagram, which we'll talk about in a second, I feel like just getting a text alert is probably even better than checking my Instagram page, because maybe you just, you know, dang, Mr. Strickland is just posting something random again. But if, you know, this would be a little bit more detailed and I can write a lot more and all that kind of stuff. So right here on this slide, I have all the class codes for all the different periods. Make sure if you haven't already signed up for Remind app to get in there, okay? Obviously, if you can't, if you don't have a phone, I think you can even do this on the computer. So even if you don't have a phone, you could do this on the laptop. But please sign up for this. Let me know if you're having trouble with it. But basically, you just go to the app and enter the code there, and you'll be added to the class, okay? And I know this is going to be annoying, but every time I post something, I'm probably going to hit you up on every single platform. So I'll probably send you a message on Teams, Jupiter, Remind, on my Instagram, on, you know, maybe even an email. So you are going to get a lot of alerts, but that's why I said in the Flipgrid video, what is the best way for me to get in contact with you guys? So then I don't have to waste time, even though I will, but so I don't have to use up a lot of time to send messages on all these different platforms. Okay, but this is Remind. It's basically like texting. It's like a group chat. I'll send something on there. You can respond to me on there. You can even send a one-on-one message to me if you want. This is another way to communicate. Okay, moving on. Instagram. We all know how this works. You guys can comment on pictures. This will be more of me just giving announcements, but if you really have a question and, I don't know, you find yourself looking at something that I posted and you want to send me a message directly on here, that's fine. I'm only going to respond to actual questions related to the class, so if you send me something random, I probably won't respond. But yeah, I'm at 497 followers. You know, if you want to help me out, 3 more, get to 500. Just kidding. But anyways, so that's one way. And then school email, obviously the most basic way to get a hold of me is my email address. So there's my email. You guys know how email works. You can send that through Gmail or whatever the case may be. And then I also have a Google Voice phone number. So I mean, this is if, I don't know, if all else fails, if you have a telephone and you want to call me, you can call this number and it'll call me. It's not my real phone number, but it's like a made up phone number by Google. Or you can send text messages to this number and I can see your messages on there as well. Okay, so there are a variety of ways to get in contact with me. Like I said, you can run through these slides. Whatever works best for you works best for me. So if you really like using Remind app, then just send me messages on there. If you really like just posting stuff on Teams, whatever works for you works for me. But you guys gotta make sure to communicate, because that's going to be an important part of this whole learning experience. Because yeah, if we're not communicating, everyone's going to be lost and it's going to be just kind of chaotic. So make sure to keep in touch. Moving on. Oh, one last way to communicate, I guess, and this is a little bit different, is on your scheduled block time. So like, for instance, like we said, on Monday or Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's period 1, 3, and 5, and then you have your 30-minute block. During those times, I'm literally going to have a window open of a Microsoft Teams meeting, and I'll just be chilling here. If no one pops in, then that's fine. Like, you don't have to pop in. It's completely optional. It's not like I'm going to be giving a class during that time. But if you want to jump in and like ask me questions and communicate with me and, you know, try to figure out what's going on, I'll be available during your block schedule. I'm also going to send out invitations to these meetings, but if I forget to send out an invitation, and you know it's your block period, if you go on Microsoft Teams, there'll be like a little camera logo, and if you click on that, it'll actually join you into the meeting. Okay, you need to be sure to make your camera and the audio allow them on your laptop or your device if you want to be able to, video chat and be seen. So this is what I'll be doing every week during your block meeting times. Once again, it is not mandatory. There is a video right here that you guys can watch that kind of shows you how to join a meeting. And it's the same way on the laptop as it is on your phone, okay? And obviously the reasons why you would want to use this is if you're really struggling on doing something on your computer, you might want to get in contact with me, because this one allows me to share my screen. It allows you to share your screen so I can see like what you're struggling with. I could show you how to do it on my computer. So this would be a good tool if you like really need to talk to me about something, or if you just want to check in and say hi, you can also do that as well. Okay, so this will only be really during your block times. I can also, if you really want to schedule a one-on-one meeting, we can schedule those too, and we'll be using this same application, Microsoft Teams. I know a lot of you guys have been hearing about Zoom, but we're going to use Microsoft Teams for this class. Okay, so I think that is it. Yeah, that's the last one for communication. Get in contact with me. But anyways, moving on, number 4, learning tools, the different ways I'm going to provide instruction to you guys. Number 1 is Microsoft Teams. So basically everything's going to be posted on there, assignments, discussion post, whatever the case may be. Microsoft Teams is like our center for the class. Okay, I posted a video of how to use Microsoft Teams. We didn't use it a lot because the majority of you guys just use OneNote, but Microsoft Teams is where you're going to be able to access a lot of the stuff. So all the things I'll be doing, I posted it here. It says here I'll be posting announcements, posting assignments, going over work, discussing groups, chatting with students. Okay. Also, Microsoft Teams, every Monday I'm going to be posting a video showing you what you're supposed to do for your packet for that week. So my computer kind of crashed out. But it's going to be important that you are actively using Teams, because I'm going to be posting the video every Monday of how, for that week of work of what you're supposed to be doing. So make sure you get on Microsoft Teams. If you're having trouble, please let me know, because this is kind of like the main headquarters for the class. Okay, and you can watch the video of all the ways you can use Microsoft Teams there. All right, and this is also how I'm going to check kind of like attendance and participation, because I can see who's actively like logging in and stuff like that. Next learning tool is OneNote. A lot of you guys know how to use OneNote already, but this is mostly just going to be useful for completing assignments. So all the packets are going to be pushed out. I'm going to push them out both on Microsoft Teams and OneNote. If you find another way to complete your assignments that don't involve using OneNote, feel free to do so. The only reason why I like OneNote is because you could type, you could write on it, all those types of things. It also keeps your work organized. But if you can figure out how to do your work on Google Docs or Microsoft Word or something else, I'm going to leave it up to you, because I don't want you to sit there and struggle trying to use OneNote if you can't use it and you know how to use something better. It's just going to be a suggested tool for you to use. Okay? Sorry, I'm getting calls during my video. Okay, and there's also another video of how to use OneNote. If you forgot how to use it, there's a video to watch there. Okay, Jupyter grades. The main reason for Jupyter grades is just to check your grades and your progress in the class, but not necessarily anything other than that. I'll also post like announcements and stuff on there, but we're only going to use Jupyter. We're not going to turn anything on Jupyter. Everything's going to get turned in on Microsoft Teams. But you can use Jupyter for checking your progress. And the routine, so basically how the class structure is going to work. Weekly preview video, so every Monday there's going to be a video that basically previews what you need to do for that week. Everything's going to be due the following Monday, so even though it's like I'm giving you the assignment on Monday, you have all the way until the next Monday to finish that weekly packet. But I'll be posting a video. Jesus, sorry. Anyway, so I've been posting videos. I'll be posting these videos Mondays for you guys to check out. Okay. Next, we are going to be doing daily check-in discussion questions. So every time you have a class period, those days, you don't necessarily have to fill in the discussion question during the block time. But like, say for instance, you're a first period student on Tuesdays and Thursdays, sometime within that day, so you'll have from the morning all the way till midnight to respond to a discussion question. And some of them might be as simple as like, what did you eat today? I mean, they're more just to check in with you guys. Some of them might be related to the class, some might just be random questions, but it's one way for me to see that you guys are all actively participating and to kind of like keep track of who's checking in every day. So those are like our warm-ups, but you're literally just going to be responding to a question. So you're going to be doing those every day that you have me for your class. So first 1 3 5 is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and 2 4 6 will be Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay, and then your weekly assignments. So I put UN Sustainable Goals. That's going to be for geography, U.S. history. We're going to kind of stay where we left off, which is the 1960s. But you're going to have weekly packets. Instead of doing notebooks, you're just going to have mini notebooks. Basically, every week you'll have something due. So you'll have like a list of things you have to complete. Do them by the next week, and then you move on to the next week packet. Okay. Once again, I'm gonna be flexible on due dates, but the more you fall behind, you're just kind of like stacking up the work. So it's good to stay on target. Okay. Most of this stuff I feel like we can do within a week. Some of the stuff I probably would have assigned as like as a whole block period assignment. So instead of doing it in one block, you guys have 7 days to do this. So hopefully you won't struggle with that. I put interactive notebook due every other Friday. That's still up in the air. I don't know if I'm going to do that, which basically means I'll have you do something for 2 weeks and then create like a mini project. If you guys remember, the interactive notebooks is where you can like create a meme or do like an Instagram post or something like that. But I'm debating if I want to do that. I might just take that out. So we'll see there. And then lastly, there's not going to be any formal tests like assessments, obviously, for a bunch of reasons. One, I can't really monitor if you're cheating or whatever the case may be. And two, it's just going to be a lot more difficult to push out tests and all that kind of stuff. So there's not going to be any more like unit exams or anything like that. So it's really important that you just kind of stay up to date on the work, because that is your assessment. That's how I'm going to assess that you guys are learning what you're supposed to be learning for this class. Okay, so that's a good thing. Might be a good thing for some of you guys, but that also means you got to keep up with the work. So that's basically the routine, and this is going to be for the next 7 weeks. It's going to be the same thing: a video explaining what you're supposed to do on Monday. You have your weekly packet to work on. You could check in with me, or you have to check in with me on your days, just responding to a discussion post, and that's basically it. And turn in your packets every Monday. Packets will be turned in on Microsoft Teams. I'll probably have to do another video to show you how to do that, or you guys can come into one of my meetings and I'll show you guys how to turn in your packets. Okay, so that's the routine. Please feel free to ask me if you or let me know if you have any questions. And then office hours. So these are your team meeting time. Outside of this time, I'll be available literally all day. I mean, I'm home all day. I might not respond as quickly as I will during these times, but even if you send me a message like at 5 p.m., I'll probably still see it and probably respond within the same day. But these are the times where I'll be like really available, just there kind of communicating back and forth with you. Last thing is just grades. We're gonna have flexible grading, so I'm gonna be a lot more lenient on due dates and things like that, and just completion of work, just because there's going to be a lot more confusion. And the goal of this whole distance learning is to improve upon your current grade that you have now. And obviously you want to have a good grade going into the next school year, and have these grades follow along. And then lastly, like for just in terms of content purposes, you want to have this knowledge moving into the next grade level, because I know it's all strange and weird right now, but hopefully, if everything turns out right, we're going to be going back to school next school year, and you guys are going to be moving on to the next grade level, and you want to have these skills and knowledge with you as you move on to the next grade. So grading is going to be a lot more different, a lot more flexible. Just as long as you're communicating with me, we can definitely make sure everything works well. And as long as you're participating and, you know, putting in all the effort, you guys should all get a pretty good grade in the class and, you know, be successful. So all I really ask for is just participation and communication. Being respectful, those are like my three main things for this distance learning. So being respectful, communicating, and participating. That's it. Okay, and we'll both have a good time doing this, and we'll both be successful for the rest of the school year. Okay, so that's basically, I know it was a lot, kind of a long video, but I just wanted to go over it, hopefully to answer more questions, so then I don't have to like individually be responding to a whole bunch of emails and stuff like that. But if you still have questions about things I went over and you're still not sure like how this is supposed to work, please let me know. Like I said, I'll be giving videos every Monday, checking back in with you guys, and I'm also available with all those methods to ask questions or voice your concerns that you may have. You will not need your textbook for this, for geography class. For U.S. history, I'm going to be posting all the links to the online book, so don't really have to worry about that. But other than that, please let me know if you're having any issues with connecting to our class and getting in contact with me. But that's it. I hope this is a good experience and we can make it work and make it happen. Believe me, we're both learning together, and I'm here to work with you guys, so I'm here for you guys. So just let me know what I can do. But that's it. Strickland out.